Hi, Julie. Hi, Leanne. Welcome. Lisa, double Lisas. So welcome everyone from all over. I love it. So we will begin right on time here. And just thank you so much for joining me this morning for a little Christmas cheer. And as I mentioned before, we can't see each other, but we sure can feel each other's energy. There's 55 of us practicing together this morning. And what a gift it is to be able to at least come together in a virtual community. So thank you so much for being here. If I haven't met you, I see a lot of new names. My name is Marsha Nieland, and I am a yoga teacher, meditation teacher, and just happy to be able to share my gifts with you. And it seems that my voice is going to go out now. Let's just hope not. So Christmas Eve, here we are. Christmas Eve growing up was always my favorite part of Christmas. And maybe we all have different traditions and different memories about Christmas, but I remember, excuse me, I don't think I'm connected here. No, sorry. I just remember Christmas Eve growing up at my house was about, we would put cookies and milk out for Santa, right? And then we would get in the car and go to church, and we would learn about the real reason behind Christmas, the birth of Jesus. And then we would go drive around in our car and look at Christmas lights, the family. And then we'd come home. And of course, you know what happened while we were gone? Santa came and put all of the gifts under the tree. So, and we actually got to open our presents on Christmas Eve. So although I learned the real reason of the season as a kid, and maybe you felt the same way, I'm just being honest, it was all about the presents. Like I couldn't wait to get the presents at Christmas. And so the wrapping, you know, seeing all the different colors of the wrapping and the anticipation and the excitement of opening the gifts that's what I was all about at Christmas time. And I think about this morning as I woke up and saw the couple gifts that we have here in the house. I was thinking about how it's such a cliche, but life is such a gift. And we have gifts every single day if we look for them. And many times the gifts are wrapped really pretty. They're sparkly and shiny, and they have ribbons and bows. And let's face it, most of us enjoy gifts. And we really prefer them looking like this. There's just something about the presentation that matters. But many times we receive gifts like this, the black box gifts. And this one actually has dust all over it. It's a little tattered and torn, but nevertheless, it's still a box and it's a gift. And so it's really easy to be grateful for the gifts in our lives that we receive that look like this, the things that we want. But it's not so easy to be grateful for the gifts that come wrapped in black or ugliness or challenge or disappointment. And that's one of the things that yoga teaches us as well, to be able to embrace all of the gifts. And the ones that maybe aren't our favorite, may we look for the ways to grow from that. May we look for the shiny moment that's maybe wrapped and tucked deep inside that shows up later. And so for many of us, I've talked to many people that 2020 has felt like this in many ways, like the black box. So maybe you've had an experience where at first it felt like that, and then later it turned into something more positive. Maybe you had a job change, maybe you lost a job and you thought about it later, like, I really hated that job. It took me away from my friends and family. And so you begin to see the positive side of it. Or maybe you had a health crisis, and the positive side of that was that you reset yourself and you came back stronger and healthier, and maybe don't take your health for granted as much. So you get the idea. It's easy to appreciate the beautiful gifts that were given to us. But the true practice, the true challenge is to learn to embrace the ones that aren't what we ask for, that aren't so pretty. So let's take a moment to center, and then we will dive into our practice, which, as we know, yoga is indeed a gift for all of us. So wherever you're at, I invite you to sit nice and tall, and then just close your eyes for a brief moment here. With your eyes closed, just let yourself drop inward to a space of stillness. Maybe you have family coming today or tomorrow. Maybe you've been busy preparing. And just giving yourself the gift of stillness right now, a moment to collect yourself, to check in with yourself. Begin to feel your breath. And that's as simple as just noticing, hey, it's a good thing. I'm breathing today. I'm alive. And that is the biggest, the most beautiful gift of all. Let your head tilt. Tilt your right ear towards your right shoulder. And perhaps noticing what's happening on the left side of the neck. There might be a little stiffness, might be a little resistance. Even the resistance that shows up in our life can be considered a gift. And then lift your head up and over, please, to the second side and just tilt your ear to the left. And receive a full breath in, just sending a signal to any resistance to start to fade. And then come head back to center. And then just join your hands together in front of the heart center. Let the head bow as we acknowledge this practice that awaits us. We ask that it nourish us and bless us. And that we receive the gift of renewed health and well-being and a deeper connection with ourselves as we practice. And then lifting your head, let your hands release and your eyes come on open. We're going to start in a standing position, my friends. So please come to standing on your mat. Let's see, I've got to move my chair out of the way here. And stick around for the end of class. I'm going to be giving a gift to one of you, the end of class. So hope you are still here to receive that. All right, just checking in. So you're in a standing position. Sorry, kids, but I think the hat has to go because it's going to fall off on that first down dog anyway. So starting in a standing position, and I'm just going to turn my light up on my thing. There we go. Dark. Bring your hands to your hips and let your feet place about hip width apart. And then just stretch your arms above your head, spread your fingers wide, reach nice and high. And from here, slowly circle your arms back, lift your chest. Say good morning, Christmas Eve, and then bring your hands in front of you. Slide your fingers together, please. Push your knuckles forward. I'm going to turn sideways. And then just round your upper back, drawing the chin towards the chest. Receiving the gift of life in through your breath. And then on your next inhalation, stretch the arms up again. Release and circle around one more time, big circle. Now just make the circles more rhythmic, warming up through the shoulder joints, circling up and back. And then we're gonna reverse that, go the other direction, circle it on around. Yeah, not overthinking it, just let your body move. Movement is medicine. Our bodies are meant to move. All right, so hold here, bring the hands onto your hips. This is gonna require a little balance. So just stand balancing on your left leg. There's no simple or there's no specific way to do this. We're just gonna circle your right leg. So lift it up and circle. If you feel better holding on to something, do that. Hold on to a wall, hold on to your, maybe you're with a family member there. You can all join arms and hang on to each other. Just circle the leg, warming up your hip joint. And then let's reverse the opposite direction. Circle it around. You can let your arms counterbalance you here. Looks like Karate Kid, wax on, wax off. Let's do the other leg. Stand on your right leg, please. Circle up, around, and down. Up, around, and down. And they could be littler circles too. Just move. You got it. And then you're going to reverse your circle around, around. Woo, you might fall over, get a little carried away. Circle. Last one, circle. Good job. Plant your feet hip width apart, maybe a little wider than hip width. And then from here, just round your back, puff your back up, draw your chin towards your chest. Take a deep breath there, and then go forward and up. Arch the back. Good old cat cow. And then round again into cat pose. And forward, looking on up. And one more time, round the back. And lifting on up. Good, and then stand straight up. Right, step your feet wide, everyone. And then turn your feet just slightly out, just a tiny bit out. Come down to this nice deep stance right here. I'm just gonna hold for a second. This will continue to warm up through our hips and take us into a few positions that we'll experience throughout the class. So place your hands on your hips. And actually, I've changed my mind. Let's turn your feet straight ahead or slightly out if that feels better for your knees, of course. So from here, we're just going to come down to the depth that feels right for you. I'm going to let you use your discretion. And then from here, come up a little bit. You're going to pop the heel up on your right foot and then turn the knee inwards. You're going to turn the hip and the knee in as far as it feels comfortable. And then come back around. Do the other side. Lift your heel, pivot on the ball of your foot, and then turn the hip in as far as you can. So we'll come back around. Let's do that again. Lift the right heel, turn, and just feel the hip turning inward, a nice big internal rotation. Come on back. Lift your left heel, turn, 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 and come back. Now we're going to change it up a little bit. Lift your right heel, turn in. Now this time, turn your front foot as well. Hands on your hips here, and then just bend your back knee down. You can explore the depth that feels right for you. Maybe it's a little, maybe it's middle, maybe it's a little lower. Lift up tall through your spine. Good. And now from here, straighten the back leg and come back around. Go all the way around to the second side. So you're on the ball of the back foot, front foot is straight ahead. Dip down a little bit. There you go, a little bit further maybe. We're just warming up. And slowly come up, turn around, turn your feet forward. Stretch the arms above the head, reach high, and then exhale, slowly come down, reach down, touch the floor. Let the head release as the hamstrings also feel a little encouragement to release. And remember to tune inward to the sensations that you feel, to your breath. This is the gift of awareness that this practice teaches us, to be more awake and aware in our lives. All right, from here, stretch your arms out, rise, come all the way up, and then bring the hands together to the heart center. Now we're going to transition one more time to the left. So you're going to pop your right heel, start to turn in, turn your left foot at the same time. Whew, you got to catch yourself if you fall. Then spin your back heel in a little bit and place it down. Straighten your front leg. The hips are turned a little bit more to the side now. Both legs straight. And then just start to hinge at your hip joint. Maybe it's a fraction and you come back up. And then a little bit deeper. It's kind of like you're bowing and coming back up. And bow again. Take a bow. You made it through 2021, almost. Take a bow again, now halfway maybe here. Feel your front leg, perhaps the hamstring, and then come all the way up. And then just pivot all the way around. You're gonna straighten the back leg. The back heel is down. Turn and start with a little bow. So just a little bow, excuse me, and come back up. A second little bow and come back up. And then the third one, hold there. And come back up. Turn your feet forward. Let's bring the legs together. Come on in. Right, so one more standing here I want to do. So it's just to acknowledge neck and shoulder tension. Maybe you've been in the kitchen baking for days or wrapping gifts. So bring your arms behind you, interlace your fingers, and then usher your hands over to the side of your body, the left side of your body. So the hands are both on the left. You're going to lengthen up through your spine, tilt your head to the left. So tilt your left ear over. And again, just be very curious and open to what you might feel on the right side of the neck. Breathe into any resistance. And then lift your head back to center. Usher your hands around to the other side and tilt your head to the right. You might find one side a little more open than the other. Receive a breath in. The breath is so important in this practice. And then lifting your head up and release your arms. All right, so we're going to come on down to your hands and knees. Make your way on down to the floor here. This class has a lot of focus on hips and shoulders today, those areas that seem to get tighter on us. So just giving you a heads up that, of course, we'll address your whole body, but a little more emphasis on hips and shoulders. So in all fours position, I want you to extend your right leg straight back, engage your abdomen, draw up so you have some good connection there, some strength. And then from here, bring your knee towards your nose, round your back, and take your nose towards your knee and really push the floor away like you're moving a piece of heavy furniture. Push down. And then extend the leg straight back out. Good. Now we're going to make a circle this time. Follow with me. You're going to bend your knee, look down between your hands, start to take your knee across over towards your left wrist a little. And then swing it to the right, lift it up like a dog in a fire hydrant, and then straighten it back out. So that's slow motion. Let's go a little more fluidly. Bend the knee across to the left wrist, open, lift, and extend. One more time. Bend the knee across to the left, open, lift, and extend, and release. Interlace the hands behind your back as you come up. Lift your chest. Deep, full, delicious breath into your lungs. And then release the hands back to all fours position. Extend the left leg straight. The first time we hold it here, engage or incorporate the abdominals. And then drawing the knee towards the nose, nose towards knee. Really push the floor away. Emphasize that, pushing down. And then extend the leg back out, long spine. Now we'll do that slow circle. So you're going to bend the knee, take it across towards your right wrist, lift it and swing it up to the left. There's a high point there, and then extend it on back. A little more fluidly, bend across, up, out, and back. Super good for our hip joints. Bend across, up, out, and down, and reach it back there. And then release. Come out of your hands again. Interlace your fingers behind you. Roll your shoulders back. Lift your chest. From hips to shoulders, from hips to shoulders. Deep breath. And now from here, you're going to come down hands to all fours again. This time, keep the left hand on the ground. Bring the right hand behind your head, please. Push the floor away really strong and just start to peek over to the right. A little bit of a twist, opening your elbow up, and then look back down at the floor. We'll repeat that. Push down strong through your left arm. It's fully straight, and twist, looking up slightly or maybe looking out, and come back down. Right hand to the ground. We'll repeat that on the other side. Left hand behind your head. Push the mat away and then turn and open. Look back down. Push the mat away. Turn, open, and look up. Fantastic, and release. Now we're going to circle your right arm back. So we'll go slow. Circle it back, up. There's a little bit of a twist here as you open. You're going to circle it around and then right into thread the needle. So tuck it under your left arm. Please come down, bring your left shoulder, excuse me, your right shoulder and right side of your head towards the floor. Doesn't have to touch. We'll be here a brief period. Take a deep breath. And then lifting yourself up, circle your arm back again. Circle back, around, and down. And now take your right leg, bring it on out to the sides here, toes face out, and open up. Let yourself come to a fuller twist, a little more open. You're firmly pressing your foot into the ground and just opening up. Maybe this year has been extremely challenging for you. Maybe all the little gifts came in black boxes, but we all get to move forward. We get to begin again always. Come back down. Let's bring the right leg in. Now we're going to circle the left arm. I'll turn this way. Circle it back, around, nice and slow, over, and then it's going to tuck right on in to thread the needle. Let the left shoulder and left side of the head rest down. Lay down any tension or frustrations that might be attached to your shoulders. Let it roll off. And as we come up, we'll circle the left arm back, please. So circle back, around, and down. Fantastic. Now you're going to take your left leg, bring it out to the side so the knee points out, the foot points out, and then stay strong in your right arm as you open. Deep, full breath here. Might notice those areas that feel a little sticky, a little stuck. Just make note of them. It will change. And then come on back down. We're going to move to our first downward dog now. So take your hands a little forward of your shoulders, sink your fingertips into the ground, and up you go with your hips. And on this first dog, normally we walk the dog, but today I'm going to have you jog your dog. So that means bend your knees in a quicker, more rhythmic way, like you are jogging. So just go for it. Nice dynamic movement here. Jog away. Keep them moving. And then as you're jogging, start to feel your hips swiveling side to side. Give them permission. Let that dog go wild today. Shift your hips, keep moving the knees, feel yourself rolling through your feet. And now from here, lower your knees down as you widen them to the outer edges of your mat, please. Sit back to your first child's pose and drop into your breath. See if you can breathe more awareness into the back of your ribs, filling up your lungs. And when you exhale, give yourself permission to release any heaviness, any sense of angst, or any fears that are become permanently inwoven in the fabric of you. Just let them release. Give yourself time to feel. And then lifting up, extend your arms for downward facing dog. And so this time we're going to do the crooked dog, and this will help you find some treasures in your hips, I believe. So please bend your left knee, staying on the ball of your left foot, and then the right foot is going to swivel inward. The heel drops down. So the foot is partially turned out, that right foot. So left knee bent, right heel swiveled in and down. Then start to push your pelvis up higher through the strength of your arms. Push your hips up and slightly veer your hips to the right, over to the right. Really dig your right heel firmly down into the mat. And now from here, we'll just switch to the second side. So lift your right heel, bend your right knee, drop the left heel in, please. And then just press your hips way, way, way up and back. Way up, all the way up to the moon, to the stars. Did you all see the Star of Bethlehem on the solstice? I'm sure you're saying yes or no. And come back to center here now, and then lower your knees down and come upright. From here, bring your arms up into cactus pose. From hips to shoulders, here we go. This is an interesting one. It stretches through the cervical nerve region, and it can feel a little strange, sometimes a little gnarly, but trust me, it's good for us. So you're going to take your right arm and extend it out and turn your palm up. And then point your fingers down. Point your fingers down. Good. Now, just keep your hand pointing down, fingers down, and tilt your head to the left. Whew. You'll feel some perhaps interesting sensations. I'm not going to tell you where you should feel it because I'm not in your body. So you'll feel it where you need it. Come back to center. Come back to this cactus pose. Left arm out, palm up, fingertips down. Tilt your head to the right. Ooh. Are you breathing? Just check in there too. Come back to center and back to cactus. Back down we go, downward facing dog. Taking it up a notch here. You always can do this, this action on your knees again. If you'd rather do this than down dog, go there, all right? It's good to have options. So we'll come to downward dog, really claw the floor strong, and then float your your right leg up to wherever up is for you, just off the floor somewhere. From here, take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, push the floor away from you even more. And then like we did earlier, take your knee towards your nose towards your knee, curl up into a little ball, and then push the leg straight back up wherever up is. Now we're gonna do a circle like we did on our knees. So you're gonna bring the leg in, veer over to the left, circle it around, way up and extend it. Do that again, bend the knee over towards the left, swing it up. So it becomes just a big circle, swing and extend, release down. Knees to the floor, come out of your hands, slide your fingers together, shoulders back. Breathe and feel, maybe your heart rate's picking up a little bit. Maybe it's just mine because I'm trying to talk and do it at the same time. All right, let's do the other side. It's waiting for you. Lift your hips on up. You're doing fantastic, everyone. Lift your left leg and then push the floor away. Push, push, push. And from here, bring your knee towards your nose towards your knee, pause, feel a nice awakening in your abdominals, perhaps. Extend the leg back. Now we're gonna do two big circles. So bring the knee in, over to your right side, swing it up, lift high, straighten the leg. Ooh, that was fun. Let's do it again. Bring it on in, over, lift it, circle, extend, and down. Awesome. Knees to the floor, sitting back. Let's take 2 breaths in child's pose. It's important to take time to actually feel what's happening, the changes that are happening. At the end of your second breath, please rise. And this is where, if you like to use blocks, if your hamstrings are a little tighter, then I would have your blocks up at the front of your mat for this next set. Would be helpful. So I'm going to give you a moment there if you need that. All right, we'll come to downward facing dog, and then take your right leg, give it a little lift and spring it and swing it on through, or however you want to get there. Bring your right leg forward. If you have blocks, you could put them on either side of your front ankle. And if not, no worries, you don't need them. So you're gonna lift your pelvis up and straighten the front leg. That's it. Maybe your blocks have to go higher. You can do that too. Okay. And then we'll just repeat that. So you're gonna bend the front leg and straighten. And again, bend, just simple, and straighten. Stay focused with your breath. Now we're gonna hold this time in the straighten one. We're going to the back leg, the back foot. Can you turn the heel inward and set it down on the floor? And then just pause here. Feel how the back hip has opened. So it's rolled open. Lift the back heel, pivot back, and bend the front knee. And then lift the right arm up into a twist and steer this front hip back a little bit. Maybe you bring your hand there and guide it back, or maybe it's just through the mind's awareness you draw it back. And then circle over, touch the ground, make your way back to a downward facing dog. Breathe in, breathe out. Deep breath in again. Slow, steady breath out. That breath that soothes and calms our nervous system. From here, lift your left leg up and swing it forward, up between your hands. You may need blocks, grab them. Blocks can be our best friends. Bending and straightening. Bending and straightening. So just a nice little pumping action. Bending and straightening. We're going to hold this one. Just check your front foot. Can you put a little bit more weight in the inner edge of your front foot and ground it? And now the back foot, we're going to spin it and drop the heel down. And then just open, externally rotate the back hip and just hold here. Hold and breathe and notice. And now lift your back foot, spin the hip forward, bend your front knee, everyone. And then let's add the twist. Open up your left arm here. Encourage your left hip to move slightly back. And then check in. Are you breathing? Or are you getting blue in the face? Extend and touch your arm down. We're going to step forward, everyone. You might have to chug your foot on in, but just step forward. Take a moment to bow. Take a bow. You've made it through the first part of class. From here, please bring the hands onto your hips. Lift your shoulders onto your back and then come up to standing. Right. So you might want one block where we're going. You can bring a block there. And you could use a chair or a wall. Excuse me, I need a drink. Chair or a wall. And we'll start right here in a bent knee position, in a chair position. So I'm just going to check in and make sure we're still connected. Oh, holy night. If we weren't, I'd be talking to myself. Okay. So standing there, we have 61 people. Woo, woo. So hold here. We're going to shift the weight over onto your right foot and then lift. I often call this the equestrian experience. Lift your hoof up and cross it on over. You might want to hold a block, or you might want to hold a wall or a chair. So hold on to something. Many times we do this for balance sake, but today I want you to have some stability. And then just simply feel your leg in this position. And it might, I'm guessing that our legs all feel different and all look a little different. So some people might be up higher, but still having plenty of sensation. Right? Good, stand up, place it down. Let's do the other side. So you can move your block over, cross the right ankle over, touch a block, or hold your chair or your wall or your friend. And then just notice what we feel, and then notice your reaction to what you feel. See how this can help us in life, right? Noticing how we react to all of life's circumstances, especially those black box gifts. All right, come on out of that. Let's go into a balanced position now. So we're going to hold, we're going to invite stability to come into our right leg. And then I want you to lift your left leg up in front of you. Now you can hold underneath, lengthen up through your spine. Flex your foot. You stay there. I'm going to turn sideways. So you can stay in this position. You could explore straightening a little bit or straightening all the way, whichever feels right for you. Press your leg down into your hands and lengthen up through your spine simultaneously. Let's see if you can hold it 2 more breaths. In some capacity, maybe the leg is bent here and you're holding. Maybe your finger's on a wall. That's okay. And then let's all release. And let's do the second side. So find stability on this left side. It helps to encourage your left buttock to engage. So draw it in, make it work for you. And then bring your right leg up when you're ready. Find some length in your spine. Pressing down with your right leg into your hands. You can explore straightening a little or a little bit more. There's a sense that your inner thighs are hugging inward towards each other. Flare your toes on the right foot. Lean your shoulders back a little. Keep breathing, my friends. Keep breathing. One more deep breath. And when you're ready, or maybe you were already ready, come on out. Fantastic. So moving now to a forward bend with a crisscross action and some deep dive into the hip. You may want to block, so know that that could be handy. And what I'll ask you to do is cross your left ankle or left leg, let's just say, on top of your right. Okay? And this position is going to require that once we're there, you dig your back heel firmly down. You burrow it down into the mat. So left leg crossed over right. Put a little bend in your knees and then bend forward. Now here's where the block might be handy. Maybe you feel better putting your hands on a block or maybe even a chair, okay, or the floor, you choose. And now what we're gonna do here is ask you to walk your hands or your block over to the left a little. So walk over to the left. Now bend your front knee. So bend your left knee and then your back leg is fully straight if you can. This is where I want you to push your right heel, the back heel, firmly down into the mat, like you're making a deep indentation, and then let your hips drift to the right just a little bit. You'll know when to stop. Front knee is bent, hands are walking over. You can maybe walk them a little bit more to the left and feel it go up in your back. And then come on home to the center place and uncross your feet so we don't fall over and stand up. Let's try the second side. Cross your right leg over your left. Bend forward to a block or the floor. And then from here, walk your hands to the right a little or move your block over there. Bend your right leg, please. And then anchor that left heel. Push it down with deep intention. Push it down and then let the hips drift a little to the left. Now, if anything, any direction I'm giving you today does not feel right, you use your own discretion and back away or make up some other variation. This should be about listening to what's important, what feels right for you. Then come back to center, everyone. We're gonna stand up now, take your time, come all the way up and uncross. Right. Come into the front of your mat. Bring the hands to the heart center. Looking down at your feet, just make sure that they are indeed straight ahead and put a slight bend in your knee. Take a moment here with hands in front of heart. Eyes can stay open, or I like to close mine to go inward. And reflect for a moment. If you think about the past year, what is one experience perhaps that has happened to you that seemed like, and may still seem like it was a little devastating, knocked you off your center, wasn't what you wanted at all. And maybe now, a few months later, you're starting to see that perhaps there's a silver lining, that perhaps it might be the best thing for you. A moment to acknowledge. Receive a deep breath in now. Exhale it out. Inhale, stretch both arms up above your head. Big full stretch, maybe a back bend. Exhale, forward fold, come on down. Bend your knees deeply, and that can be different for each person. Maybe it's here, maybe it's all the way down. So just bend your knees to where your knees say, that's good. And then lift your hips back to straight. Hands on your shins, halfway lift. Extend your spine and exhale, bow. Sweep your arms out to rise up, reach up to stand up, and then exhale, hands to heart center. Let's just repeat that. Inhale, arms come above you, arch back. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees to your position. Could be malasana, could be halfway. Lift your pelvis up, straighten the legs. Inhale, halfway lift, hands on the thighs. Exhale down. Now you might want your blocks nearby. I'm going to give you that heads up there. Step your right leg back to deep lunge. And from here, let your back heel, your back foot drop in like we did earlier. Just let it drop down a little. Straighten your front leg as to the best of your ability. And this is where your blocks might be super duper helpful. And from here, just pause. Push from your abdomen through your pelvis. So just send an awareness of energy down your legs into your feet. Lift the back foot, knee to the ground now. Stretch both arms up, Anjaneyasana. Reaching, breathing, celebrating all the gifts that you were given this year, the pretty ones and the not so pretty ones. Hands come on down, touch down. We're gonna go to a plank pose. You can lower to your knees if that feels better. Take a deep breath in. And on an exhale, make your way down to the floor. Inhale, lift to a cobra. Exhale, release down. Pushing back, downward facing dog, hips up and back. Take a moment here to celebrate your breath. Please step your right leg up between your hands. Pausing here, and then use your blocks if you need them. Lift your pelvis up, trying to straighten the front leg a little more. And then simply spin the back foot in, drop the heel down. Just kind of opening the gate of the hip there. And just pause here. Legs are straight. Draw up through your abdomen and send that energy, that strength down your legs into your feet. And now bend, lift your back heel up again. Bend the front leg, lower the back knee down. Inhale, stretch on up, reaching high. Starting to feel more alive now. Exhale, release down. Step back to downward facing dog, please. Starting to get warm. Down dog, hold there. Deep, full breath. And then inhale, shift forward to your plank. Exhale, lower on down. Inhale, lift to cobra. Exhale, lower down. Toes curl under, up and back we go. And then step your left leg forward, and then move your back foot to the right a little. Walk on up your front leg, find your balance here, And then I'll ask you to bend your back knee just a little and check that your shoulders haven't gone forward. So see if you can keep them a little more over your hips. Now, you certainly can stretch the arms straight up. I'm going to give you another option where you actually come across and grab your elbows. So know that that's an option. You grab your elbows and you push your elbows up towards the ceiling and you try to pull your elbows apart. And then you draw your ribs back into your abdomen, ribs back into your body, I should say. And then see about bending your back knee a little deeper. We did this at the beginning to warm you up, maybe all the way down, not touching the floor though. Lean back a little, keep that integration through the core, and then start to straighten your front leg. Fantastic, release, come down, touch the ground. Step back, down dog. Let's go back to twisted dog. So let's bend your left knee, drop your right heel in, and then push your hips up and over to the right slightly. And switch your twist. So you're gonna bend your right knee. Please drop your left heel in, push your hips up and over to the left. Feel your breath. Lift on back to neutral position here and step your right leg forward. Move your back foot to the left a little, it'll help widen your stance, and then slowly come on up. And we just take our time to find integrity of our foundation, not in a rush, or as my mom would say, not in a toot. Don't get in a toot. Squeeze your legs towards each other for stability and shoulders over hips. Good. Now your options are whatever you want to do actually with your arms. You can reach up, you could reach across and grab your elbows for a variety. Push your elbows up, try to pull your elbows apart. And if your ribs are poking way out, just subtly tether them back into your body as you bend your back knee and explore the terrain behind you and beneath you. Lifting up and back at the same time. Again, you can just do a baby dip here. And then release, touch down, and we're gonna step on forward, everyone. Step forward. Hands to the hips, lift your shoulders, and please come up to standing. All right, here we go. One more area of the hip that needs us to give it some attention, the inner rim, the adductor region. So take your legs wide, please, and then we're gonna turn this time for sure, turn the feet just slightly out. Bend into your right knee. Now, once we get down lower, you may need to slide this leg further out. You'll know if this knee feels cramped or uncomfortable. So come down to the floor or a block. And then if you are feeling plenty of sensation here, you're probably at the right distance. If you're not, you just wiggle this left foot out a little further. Bend into this leg and just pause until you feel some interesting sensation. Breathing. And then we're going to shift. We're just going to keep shifting back and forth. So the feet turn slightly out, shift over to your other side, your left. Notice. Breathe into it. And now we'll go a little more rhythmically here. So come over and bend. Kind of like stealth-like, just slither over to the other side and bend. And now you can keep that height, or if your knees allow and you want to go into a different position, you could pop this right heel up and come onto the heel over here. So that may or may not feel the best for you. So stay with the first option and then come up and over. Some days this is just too much for me. So I'm like, no, this is not a good thing for you today. We get to make those important decisions for ourselves every day, all of our choices. One more time. If you're staying here, feels good. And then one more time to the other side. Awesome. And come back to center. Turn your feet forward, everyone, and then take a moment of stillness here. Let your spine lengthen. Let your noggin, your head relax. It's been wound up and overthinking lately. Time to just air out a bit. And now start to move or lift your torso up a little bit. Come onto the fingertips. Start to bring your feet in, heel toe, and bend your knees when you arrive there. And this is a little bit different. I'm going to ask you to interlace your fingers and put them on the back of your neck. So put your hands here, right at that. So your knees are bent, your chest is laying on your thighs. Your hands are right at the base of your skull on top of your neck. And then I want you to use the outer edge of your hands there and try to just lengthen your neck and try to lengthen and pull your skull downward towards the floor, a gentle traction. And then start to push your head slightly up into your hands. So there's just a little counteraction here. You're pressing down with the hands and lengthening, and you're lengthening the head up at the same time. And then release your hands completely to the floor. Pausing there, enjoy a deep breath and a moment of stillness. And then hands come on to your hips, lift your shoulders, and come up to standing. All right, so we're going to take a detour here for some Christmas core action. So I invite you to come onto your back. And those of you that study with me frequently, you're familiar with some of this, but might be brand new to others. So we'll just unpack it, adjust this just a tiny bit. And so from here, once you're on your back, I invite you to have a block nearby. And if you don't have a block, I'll show you options for that as well. So bring your legs up into a tabletop position, flex your feet and squeeze your legs and feet towards one another. Now notice in your low back, for most people, when we do this position, the back presses flat into the floor. Now that might be where you need to be. If you have a more vulnerable back, then that's totally fine. I would ask you to explore the option of letting your low back slightly come off the floor. Just see how that might feel. If it doesn't, go back. Place your hands on your thighs, squeeze your leg muscles like you're giving yourself a hug, and then traction upward with your fingers and your hands. Gentle pressure forward with your hands into your legs, and then resist with your legs pushing back into your hands. Call this abdominal bracing. Learned this from our good friend Desiree Ramba and Karen Church. And so it awakens the deep intrinsic muscles of the core, and you're just holding there. You're having fun, aren't you? Holding, and then let up on the pressure. And let's do that same thing again. So again, we're not pushing too hard. We want to go deeper, so less press. So squeeze the leg, traction the leg up, and then gently push forward with your hands. Maybe like 20% of your strength. And holding there for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Bring your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a squeeze. And then we're going to do one more variation of that, which is an option. You can do the exact same thing. So not only does this strengthen the abdominals, but the other side of the core too, all the little multifidi that support the vertebrae in the back. So from here, option to take it up a little bit would be both hands on your left thigh, extend the right leg out or maybe straight up, and then let's press for 8. So you're pressing gently, resisting with the leg for 8, 7. You can lower this leg if you want. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right leg in, hands move to the right thigh, gentle pressure forward with the hands. Extend the leg if you choose, holding 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring both knees in. Give yourself a hug. And a breath, a conscious breath. Good. And now let's roll to your right side. In the essence of time, I'm going to skip that third one and take you to another place. So I'd like for you to come up to a seated position as we move a little more back into the hips. And many of you know pigeon pose, and you may or may not love it. So this might be an alternative for pigeon. It's in the pigeon family. It's a cousin of the pigeon, I call it. So it's called the 90-90 sit. And so you're going to take your your left leg forward and see if you can make the shin be as close as possible parallel with the front of the mat. Flex your foot. So that's in a 90-degree angle. And then the back leg, just see if you can adjust it as close to 90 as possible. So I'm bringing my leg back and then I'm swinging my foot out. So there's a nice 90 here. Okay? And you'll feel most of your weight, of course, is on your left buttock. From here, you might be getting a few cramps back here. If you do, just bring your leg in, give it a breather, rub it out a little bit. Sometimes that happens. Just bring your fingertips on the floor and we're gonna pulsate with the breath. So we're gonna orient the movement with the breath here. So inhale, lengthen. Exhale, lean. Inhale, back away. Exhale, lean forward. Inhale, back away. Exhale, lean forward. Now turn your chest and ribs to the left. So just turn a little bit to the left. And then make your way back up. Now to transition, it's just like a windshield wiper. So bring the hands behind you, lift your legs up, over, and here you are on the other side. Take a time to move your foot up, and then just see, do I have a 90 here? As close as possible. 90 here. Doesn't have to be exactly 90. We're not going to get one of those, what was it, a protractor? I don't know. Math was not my thing. When you measure exactly, there's not going to be anyone run into your house and measure. So close enough is good. Hands here. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, lean. Inhale, back off. Exhale, explore. Inhale, back away. Exhale, lean. Stay in the lean and turn your torso to the right, towards the front knee. One more breath here. And then lifting up. Bring your legs up and across, on over. And we come here now to our last set. So we're going to come up onto your hands and knees. So this last one has a little trickiness in it. So I just want to show you an option. So I want you to lift your knees a little. Just come to down dog. I think that would be best. Bring your left knee up and then take it across your body. Take your foot out and tap your toe out to the side. Okay? And then bring it back to down dog. Bring your right knee up and then just look to your left there. There's some space, cross it over. So your legs are making a big X. And if possible, your hips are high enough to straighten your leg. If not, it might be bent here. That's okay. Bring it back. All right, so from here, lift your left leg towards the ceiling. Bring your knee towards your nose. Take it across, straighten, and then flex your left foot. And now just push your pelvis up as high as you can. Both legs straight if possible, hips high. Now you can stay here, you can go back to down dog. Those of you who want to take it up for the last little bit, spin your back heel down and slide your leg out to fallen triangle. Open your pelvis. It's like the fireworks at the end. Da, da, da. And then bring it on back and back to down dog. So you can see there's all kinds of options there. all different gift wraps. Bring your left or right leg on up, bring the knee in. So you might want to just come across here and explore. Could straighten the legs, push the pelvis up and back. And if you want the last fallen triangle, spin your back foot in, slide your right leg out, open your left arm to the ceiling. Say, here I come, 2021. I am so ready. And come back. Bring it in, knees down, chest down, child's pose. Ah, the gift of rest. And just feel your natural breath. What a blessing, this gift of life. And then lifting yourself on up, we'll transition onto your back here. Start to wind down and move into some calming postures and then to a little shavasana. And then I have a gift for one special yogi today. So bring your legs, knees towards your chest, so much that you might feel your bottom lift off the ground a tad bit there. And then extend your legs up towards the ceiling. Flex your feet, point your feet. Give your legs a little pat. Thank you, legs, for all you did for me today and every day. And then open your legs and bend your knees up towards your shoulders. Now you can simply hold your hands here right behind your legs. You could reach up and grab your ankles or shins, and you can grab your little toes. One is not necessarily better than the other, right? It's where you can be honest, or you can be real and safe and not over efforting to have your pose look a certain way. Good. Happy baby pose. Give a little rock side to side. Happy baby. Landing in the middle. Place your feet down to the mat. And that you let your feet come a little wider than your hips. Let your knees now drop in until they find one another. Let them touch like a tent or a teepee. And then what I want you to do is take a hand and arch your low back and slide your fingers under there. So can you get your fingers under to wiggle the low back? So we need that healthy lumbar curve. And so make sure you have a little wiggle room there. And if you do, you're going to feel a heaviness in the back of your pelvis, and what we call the sacrum, a triangular bone there. So a heaviness there. Now, puff up your chest a little bit so you can use your elbows to push down and then just elevate the chest like a kid on Christmas morning, like, oh, the lights, the presents. And then just pause here in this very restful position, knees touching. You might feel that your belly region, your low belly feels a little more hollow because you have that arch in your low back. So it's softer. Bring attention into your breath and to the ribs specifically. Can you feel any movement in your ribs as you breathe? And then move your awareness to your chest. Do you feel any movement in your chest as you breathe? And now we're simply going to take our feet and wiggle them towards one another until they touch, and then open the legs the opposite direction now apart and allow the soles of your feet to find one another, pressing into each other. And let your arms, they can either rest at your sides on the floor, or some people just like to place their hands on their tummy. See what feels right for you. And give yourself divine permission. Start to receive, relax, reset. And we'll stay here if possible for 4 more conscious breaths. See if you can stay focused on your breath 4 more cycles. And then stretch your legs straight for some time in the deep rest of Shavasana. A couple more breaths here with a nice arch in your low back. And as you are ready, you can slide your legs on out, taking a few minutes of gold right here, such a treasure to just be. Stillness can be such a deep blessing, gift. And we don't often give ourselves that. Feel your fingertips. Feel the air moving across your fingers and hands. And feel your arms from your wrists all the way up to your shoulders. Let the arms relax. The back of your skull sink into the mat. Back of your shoulders, your upper, middle, and lower back. Feel the pelvis heavy, releasing. And let that sense of heaviness move down your legs, your ankles, your feet, your toes. Notice the tendency to want to perhaps move or skip this part. Your body appreciates this more than you know. So rest here for a couple more minutes. I'll watch the time. This place of stillness. Feel your sense of aliveness that shows up in your breath. Bringing awareness now back again to the tips of your fingers. Starting to acknowledge these beautiful hands of yours with some simple movement, some stretching, some wiggling of the fingers. And then as you're ready to make a larger movement, just check in. Maybe you want to stretch your arms. Maybe you're ready to bend your knees towards your chest. And then rolling to your right side as you're ready. And slowly press yourself on up to a seated position as we bring our practice to a close. And once you have arrived and you're comfortable, just take a moment to close your eyes. Perhaps sensing this feeling of gratitude or an opportunity to practice and reconnect with yourself. Each day we wake up, we can be grateful for this gift of life, which many times we don't mean to, but we can take for granted. Every day is a new beginning. And after you've opened one of those black box gifts and you feel like, ugh, this is not what I want, it's often a challenge or something that allows us to begin again, or to start something over. I'm going to leave you with these words from the author Mark Nepo. It's called Beginning Again. Creation is ongoing. The world begins anew each day. This is the miracle that makes not a sound, but which changes everything. If we can be quiet enough to feel it happen, we can participate in this, and we begin anew each day. Consider how the sun washes the earth with its heat, and then clouds dissipate, and grasses grow, and stones crumble when no one is looking to reveal a smoother, deeper face. It is the same with us. In a moment of realness, the clouds in our mind clear, and our passion is restored, and our walls crumble when no one is looking. It all continues and refreshes if we let it. It all renews so subtly. We think it is night that covers the world, but everything living is recreated in that mysterious moment of rest that blankets us all. And each time you blink, if you pause to let your heart flutter with nothing but air to flutter about, each time you open your eyes, you can begin again. It's true. This is the moment of resurrection, the opening of our eyes. Please join your hands in front of your heart. And simply and sincerely bow, honoring you for showing up today, honoring this community. We get to experience the practice together, and honoring the divine, benevolent, larger power that gives us all life. Bow to the light in each of you. Namaste. And I wish you all a blessed, healthy, happy, peace-filled holiday. Thank you for being here this morning. Stay tuned. I'm planning something for New Year's Day. We can start our day off in a nice way with yoga, so be on the lookout. And also, I said that I would be giving out a gift. So I wrote this out before class, so you wouldn't think I was just picking someone. I said the seventh person on the list here, I'm going to give you a free 8 weeks of yoga. And it would, of course, be virtual. That's what we're offering right now. So I'm going to count down 7 people from the top. And that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Kathy Passmore. Kathy, I am going to gift you an 8 weeks of yoga. So let's connect on that. And would love to have you join me. So thank you, everyone, for being here this morning. Merry, Merry, Merry Christmas. And I just hope that you have a fantastic rest of your day. And thanks for taking time for yourself today. Someone says their yoga pants are getting tighter. They're using the wrong fabric softener. Oh, too funny. Someone says, I feel so much better. Thank you.